Whoops. Terribly kind. Hmm? Yes. Where do I want to go?
I really think you ought to go, oughtn't you?
No.
All right. How's America?
Enormous.
I have heard. And, when did you get back?
Darling, are you expecting somebody?
No, of course not.
Good.
Stephen,
Now listen, I made a decision on the plane.
Oh?
I decided to deliver to you on my return an ultimatum.
What?
Why don't you go and make some coffee? I'll tell you about it.
Stephen, don't you think it would be better if we talked about this tomorrow?
Coffee?
This time,
All
John.
right, Caswell.
All right, where do you want me to drop you?
I'll tell you where.
This time you really can get the chop, John.
From whom?
From whom? Use your head. This has happened before. This government isn't going to be any more pleased than the other was, particularly as they made such political ammunition out of it. All you need now is to get mixed up in a moral scandal and you'll really be turned into a public victim.
Well, I'm not mixed up in a moral scandal.
So in this country, scandals about money are always worse than scandals about morality. And this time, you'll probably be able to take us all
Well,
with you.
you're no longer really involved, are you, Caswell? You can watch the battle on the plains from the rarefied heights of your holy seat in the mountains, for as long as you can. No, I'm not going to drag you into it.
Well, all I'm concerned about is the
Good name of Blythe. All right, Caswell.
That's all I am concerned
All right,
about.
all right. Drop me here, will you? I'll get a cab.
Don?
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 Huh?
Don, you all right?
Oh, good.
I won't be a minute.
You sure you're not expecting anybody?
No,
Good. Tell me, how's,
I hardly ever see him.
Well, how did you know who I meant?
Who else would you mean?
What happened?
Nothing happened. I just decided that...
Decided against it.
More or less. I do, of course, see him now and again.
Of course.
I mean, obviously one would through work, and... Why didn't you let me know you were coming back?
Well, I didn't know myself until just before I left. They extended my time and then changed their minds halfway through, you know.
Even so.
Then I didn't know for sure that you wanted me to, did I?
No, of course you didn't. I think that coffee must be about ready.
Ugh. I'd try and get it down if I were you.
Huh? Oh, dear old Kenneth. dear old Kenneth.
Have you been to a party?
Have I not, old sportsman? Have I indeedy not? I realized in the old Vino Veritas. Been to a party for the past 7 or 8 years. Always waiting for Father Christmas to come and bring me my balloon, my orange. Here he comes. No, in a minute. No, I haven't been to a party.
Or what?
It's like the little boy said. There ain't no Father Christmas. It's like the devil. It's your father.
Have you been out by yourself tonight?
Ken, would you say... Do you think I've spent all my life looking for a father figure, do you reckon?
No. What's the matter, Don?
Now, would do me a favor. I know it would. Oh, do you remember those gay days? Zoinking around Africa, trying to twist everybody in sight, and helping the emergent nations to emerge into the bright new light of civilized self-interest, and covering up for Pamela, and covering up for John, and then covering up for having covered up, and covering up for having been caught covering up. Oh, the happy days of youth, Ken. All the days were sunny. And one woke up every morning to the happy daily cry of yeah. And the further daily cry of yeah.
Come on. I'll drive you home.
No, not tonight, old dear.
Come on, Don. We can't stay here.
Oh, plod off, Ken.
Come on.
Oh, get out! For God's sake, get out! Just don't well leave me alone,
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
huh? Yeah. Quote. You can always tell a man these days by the company that keeps him. Unquote.
So what is this ultimatum?
Well, it's not really an ultimatum.
What is it then?
It's just that I'd made a decision.
What about? Oh, is that what you were thinking about for 1,700 miles?
Just that I'd thought of a way to sort all this out.
Sort all what out?
I thought perhaps that if you and I could...
Ah. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't realize you were having a party.
Good evening.
How do you do?
What do you want, John?
Well, it doesn't matter, darling. I didn't mean to disturb you. I'll give you a ring.
John? John, this is Stephen Gray. John Wilder.
How do you do?
How nice to meet you. Actually, darling, it is rather important. I must see you tomorrow.
Oh, what about?
How about lunch, as usual? Well, delightful to have run into you, Mr. Gray. I've heard a lot about you, pretty nearly everything. How do you like the flat?
Well,
I should warn you, it's a hell of a high rent in this area. I'll see you tomorrow at the usual place, darling. Good night.
John? He does not pay the rent. He does not, and he never has done, no matter what you might think.
Yes, I know.
I just can't get the key back from him.
I suppose you could always change the lock.
Oh, I suppose I could. Oh, I've never thought of it.
Now I suppose you've got to have somebody to talk to.
Oh, Stephen, I was afraid this had happened. But I wasn't expecting it. You just never know.
Well, one can always take steps to stop that sort of thing happening.
How?
That is what my ultimatum was about. It's either John Wilder or me, if you were seriously considering the choice.
How are you this morning, Don? You all right?
Oh, fine.
Did you get home all right?
Yes. Yes, thanks.
Good.
Hmm?
No, I didn't say anything.
I don't quite understand, Sir John. What exactly is it you want me to find in these figures?
I don't want you to find anything, Pickthorne. I just want to detailed and accurate analysis of how the money was spent.
But the figures show that already, sir.
Now, I want it down to the last penny. I want the figures that got lost because accounts came in late, and when they did come in, they were slipped into another budget to save doing everything again. Cash floats that covered 2 projects at once. Any item of expenditure, however small, that might have possibly slipped over to another balance.
But, Sir John,
inadvertently slipped. You might also try and get a figure for the materials the men half-inched on the job.
Well, I don't think...
Oh, sorry. It's all right. We just finished. As soon as possible, please.
Well, I'll do what I can, Sir John.
Good. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
What's he looking so worried about?
I'll give him some work to do.
Nice morning.
Is it?
Now, what's up?
Yes?
There's a phone call from Mr. Kenneth. Will you take it in your office?
Yes, all right. Put it through, will you?
Kenneth Bly?
I can't talk to you on the telephone. Get over here as quick as you can, will you?
Well, I can't... Well, yes, all right. This afternoon, probably. Yes.
Your father, I shouldn't wonder.
Yes.
I wonder if Don's in yet.
Yes, I came in with him.
Mr. John?
Is Mr. Henderson there yet?
No, Sir John, he hasn't come in yet.
All right.
Well, he came in the same time as I did.
Miss Lingard,
Yes, Sir John.
will you put a call through for Mr. Henderson? He's in the building somewhere. It's urgent. I want him.
What's so urgent, if I may ask?
I've no doubt your father's dying to tell you about it. I should get over there if I were you.
What are you doing here?
Believe it or not, I came to see your boss, Mr. Bly.
Caswell?
I had a verbally arranged appointment, but I came early so that I'd call in on you. Oh. You busy?
No, not desperately. Can I get you a cup of coffee or something?
You don't have to be so formal. Is this office bugged or something?
Of course it isn't.
Then that doesn't explain your formality.
Well, it's just a bit odd seeing you here in my office. I
No,
don't
it's a
know
bit
why.
embarrassing, yes, I know.
Oh, I see. You have the same trouble when your girlfriends call on you in your office, do
Oh,
you?
yes, all the time. It's ghastly.
What have you gone to see Caswell about? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
Well, it is a bit 007-ish, and in a way, I'm afraid it does concern a friend of yours, Wilder.
Oh?
Have you seen him yet?
Well, no, of course not.
I'm not prying. I merely wondered if he'd been in or if perhaps he were here now.
No? You're on your usual Secret Service work for the Auditor General's office, are you?
No, not really, but it might be a bit embarrassing if we were to meet for quite different reasons this time.
Embarrassing?
You are meeting for lunch?
Yes. Yes, I am. I thought it would be best all round, and I can have a talk with him.
Fine. But please don't tell him that I've been here this morning, all right?
What on earth's going on?
Yes?
I put a call right round the building for Mr. Henderson, Sir John. Nobody seems to know where he is.
All right. Keep on trying. I want him.
Yes, Sir John.
Well, Mr. Henderson, Sir John's been looking everywhere for you.
You haven't seen me.
Mr. Henderson's office?
Is he there yet?
No, I'm afraid not, Sir John.
Well, for God's sake, try and find him, will you? As soon as you do, tell him to come and see me. It's important.
Yes, Sir John.
Is there anything good on the pictures anywhere, do you know?
alone. Do sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I came out of curiosity.
About what?
For what?
Gin and tonic, please.
No, not tonic. A bit of lemon, please.
And bitter lemon. And I'll have the same as I had before. Why what?
While your wife was away, you hardly ever came near me. Now that she's back, you start asking me out to lunch. I was waiting for you to turn up last night. I don't know why. I just knew you would.
You didn't seem exactly surprised to see me, I must say.
I knew if there were a worst possible time for you to turn up, you'd turn up.
Was it the worst possible time?
Oh, don't be bloody silly, John.
So that's Stephen Gray.
Yes,
Very what I suppose you'd call attractive.
very. Doesn't it ever depress you, John, all these younger men breathing down your neck? In business, with your wife, with me?
I see.
Good. But don't let me depress you.
You have turned into a right bitch, haven't you, darling?
Yes, darling. With you, it seems one almost has to.
Thank you.
So, why did you ask me to come here, since you know damn well I'll never go to bed with you again as long as I live?
Well, why did you come to have lunch with me under those circumstances?
Oh, John, why do we always have to fence like this? Why can't we just pack it in as anyone else would?
I'm in love with him.
Oh, let's not go into that.
Oh, yes, that's...
John, I thought I was in love with you. I really did. And I was so prepared to be in love with you that I was willing to overlook all the little side issues you always seem to bring with you. You could never forget business, and that you were never, never, as long as you lived, going to leave your wife. And where does it end up? In a restaurant being bitchy. I don't think love is an emotion I'm prepared to trust very much. I like him.
Good.
Yes, good.
Do you want another drink?
I don't think so, thank you. How's Pamela?
Fine.
Good.
She's come back.
Yes, I had heard.
Howard, do you know, I really don't know what on earth to say to you.
Well, let's get back to why you asked me to come here. But don't ever call me darling when you don't mean it, all right?
Mm.
So, why did you ask me to come here?
Because I want you to help me.
I only got your message when I rang home. Been in town all morning.
Hello, Pamela. I only rang you for someone to talk to.
I see. Are you having the day off?
Have you had lunch?
Well, I was thinking perhaps some coffee and a sandwich.
Well, permit me, dear lady. I can just about afford that.
The lighted kind, sir. Is it a bit late for you to be out having lunch?
What sort of trouble?
Have you seen the final figures for the M23 job?
No, not yet.
But my God, but they've been out a week.
Well, I've been rather busy with something else. Anyway, how did you see them? They're nothing to do with you.
I haven't. I've been getting the backwash.
All right, come on, you don't tell me. How much did we lose?
Well, you didn't. You made a profit.
Oh, splendid. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Certainly. But you made a profit so enormous that people in certain offices are beginning to ask whether the tender was put in knowing that the profit margin would be such a great one.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Well, if you remember, Wilder said his tender'd be lower than anyone else's and that he'd be bound to get the job.
Well, then it's slightly lower than tenders put in by the rest of the trade.
Yes. Do you think they'd get as much profit?
No, I very much doubt it. But the fact is, we put in a lower tender, thus saving money.
Public money.
Yeah, public money, and we did it within that price. I mean, ask anyone in the trade if it wasn't a fair figure.
Do you honestly imagine that the trade is going to come riding to your rescue? Who do you think it was suggested to the ministry that Wilder knew something which he didn't reveal before putting it in his tender?
Isn't it marvellous? They all cry, make industry more efficient, improve management, And as soon as you do, and incidentally make a bit more money, they send round little men in bowler hats to ask what you mean by it.
Well, actually, it wasn't a bit more money, it was a hell of a lot more money. And they take the understandable view that where public money is concerned, if you say you can save it, you should state to what extent you can save it. They don't assume that you're not going to make a fair profit.
Sorry, which hat are you wearing now, Father? Which they are you talking about?
I had a young man here this morning from the Auditor General's office. Now, the government aren't going to have this kind of scandal. And since it will be the civil service heads that will drop, they're not going to have it either.
So what are they going to do?
I don't know. Scandal or no scandal, there's one obvious head that'll get the chop first. Are you entirely opposed to that possibility?
Yes, in fact, I think I am.
Are you indeed?
Yes. You know, sometimes I think, Father, the stink of your generation will pollute the atmosphere worse than a million atom bomb tests. The only thing you've handed down is how to make morality act on behalf of your unbelievable egos. I don't really think there's any difference between you and Wilder, but I don't believe he knew how the figures were going to come out. I mean, if he's going to be chopped, let's at least let it be a fair chop.
Fair. I think you believe that one washing powder washes whiter than another.
I don't believe that you wash any whiter than John Wilder, Father.
Well, if there's going to be a scandal, it'll be a big one. The opposition aren't going to lose this God-sent opportunity.
It will still be nothing to do with you.
You think not? Ken, I give you fair warning. If it becomes apparent that two managing directors can't keep Blythe out of trouble, the only way out will be for me to resign from the NEB and come back to Blythe as sole managing director.
No. John, you don't
I'm
seriously.
not asking you
You're
to...
trying to put me in an impossible situation. Oh, you never think of anybody of this.
I'm not asking you to betray a trust. He's a friend of yours.
Well, you have friends in the Public Accounts Committee of the House of Commons.
He might possibly tell you, whereas at the moment nobody will tell me. I only want to know what their attitude is. I don't want necessarily to know their intentions
Why
or...
is it that you always have to drag any relationship into your dirty little arena?
Because that's where they are.
No, John, I won't do it.
You're obviously in love with him.
You go.
Susan, I wish you would do it. Because if you don't, you leave me no alternative but to do it my way.
Well, that was a long sandwich.
Oh, they do a lovely sandwich here. Shall we have another of these?
Are you having the day off?
How are things with you then, Pamela?
Oh, fine.
Really? Well, that's super. Everything back to normal, eh?
Well, sometimes I have a little difficulty in trying to remember what normal was.
Oh, heavens, yes. These days it's terrible. Could we have another of these, please?
Certainly, sir.
Oh, is it late?
Well, sir, it's...
I'll tell you what, if you want to, you start stacking the chairs on the tables. Don't you like it when you're the last one at the table, chairs start going up and you're chatting happily away to a beautiful girl? Or, in your case, a beautiful man. Of course, for the really romantic bit, it should be after midnight. Old Harry Midders.
Darn.
Oh, there's nothing much going on at the office at the moment. No point in my being there, really. Ah, well done, my lad. Well, I don't think we need to go through all that camp at this late juncture. Just see if you can get it to the top of the glass, eh?
Oh, no, thank you, that's not...
Oh, Pamela. You're really glad you went back to John? No, I mean, there you were, free. Free you were, in that super flat in Rome. Now, you ask anybody. Anybody go out in the street and drag somebody in. Woman, and you ask her. You say to her, imagine yourself, beautiful woman, very beautiful woman, plenty of money, super flat in Rome, all on your own, a space in which to make a decision about what you're going to do next. A super luxurious space. Well, I'll bet you they'll tell you they couldn't imagine anything more super. Any woman, especially any married woman.
Well,
You ask her.
probably made that decision.
Nonsense.
Why nonsense, Don? Is there some sort of trouble between you and Pat?
No, that isn't the sort who gives trouble. You know, a chap I knew once said the only time he found his marriage was exciting was when either of them had been unfaithful and they were rowing about it. The only time he really felt alive. That, and when he was being unfaithful, even though he didn't like it. Isn't that a ghastly view of life as it really is?
Why nonsense, Don?
Because you were on your own, Pamela. That's one thing human beings can't stand for long, being on their own. Heredity didn't program it into them. So when they find themselves on it, Alonesville, even though they think that's what they really wanted, they suddenly decide to settle for the 8% that was good and forget the rest that was wretched. Thus, they keep flying back into the arms of the devil they know, who waits, if he's a wise devil, and what devil is not, for their imminent arrival.
What's the matter, Don?
My old father, bless him, died of cancer. In the September before the March in which he died, he dug up the whole of the bottom of the garden and planted roses. 25. He knew he wouldn't be alive to see them bloom. Oh, he hoped he would, but he knew he wouldn't. He did it on the principle that it was better to have planted rose bushes than not. Courage. How could he have done that, Pamela, without crying his heart out over every spadeful? But he didn't. 4 o'clock every afternoon, he just came in and had a cup of tea. Just as though he had the whole of his life in front of him. I, for my part, are going to the pictures this afternoon. Waiter, can I have a bill, please?
Why do you have to be so dramatic about everything? Why didn't you simply tell me?
Why do you always have to be told, Kenneth? Why can't you just know sometimes?
Is it serious?
Of course it's serious. What did your father say?
Well, he said he might resign the NEB and come back here. Do you think that's possible?
It is possible, because it's slightly more than possible that there won't be an NEB much longer. It's liable to be absorbed. I've no doubt that your father is working out his future itinerary.
But how would he get your job or mine?
Hasn't it dawned on you, Kenneth, that if Caswell comes back here to take our places, it'll be as a sop, not only to the government, but the civil service and the Public Accounts Committee. A way out for everyone concerned. The image we present is that we failed. Or we may have made £1 million profit. But in this instance, as far as public morality is concerned, we failed. We expected to bow out. And that's not an image I prefer to present to a lot of creepy politicians.
But there's likely to be a scandal in any case.
I will see. Miss Lingard.
Yes, Sir John?
I want you to get hold of Christopher Matcher, the MP, for me.
Oh. Just off, are you?
Well, it's nearly 6, Mr. Henderson.
Is it really? Well, what news from the front?
Well, that thing's been buzzing for you all afternoon. It's been very
Sir
difficult to find
J.W., I suppose. Oh, well, never mind. You pop along and prepare yourself for a new day.
Yes. Good night, Mr. Henderson.
Where the hell have you been?
Well, you might knock. I might have been in my dishabille.
Do you realize that I've been looking for you nearly all day?
I'm terribly sorry. I must have been in the wrong places.
Well, I haven't got time now, but I want to speak to you. First thing in the morning.
I might not be in first thing in the morning.
Like you haven't been here all day?
John, I bought this afternoon for my desk. Do you like it?
Very amusing. First thing, Doc. It's important.
You, Sir John Wilder, sir.
Mr. Matcher, how do you do?
Sir John Wilder.
Yes. Would you like a drink?
I have one, thank you. Possibly a little later.
Certainly. Brandy, please.
Perhaps if we were to move to one of those seats over there.
Yes, of course.
Shall we wait until you have your drink?
Yes. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure, as a matter of fact, whether what I have to tell you will be of any interest.
Doubt if you'd have got in touch with me if you hadn't thought it would be.
No, possibly not. It doesn't concern anything which has happened. It concerns a situation which is arising.
Yes.
A situation which, to say the least, will be very difficult for all concerned.
Yes?
That is to say, it would appear that it will be very difficult for all concerned. If the situation hasn't arisen entirely by accident.
What situation, Sir John?
You, as an opposition MP, are on the Public Accounts Committee, were concerned at the moment in looking into a matter which might become a political scandal, one in which several reputations stand to be damaged.
Oh?
Mr. Matcher, I'm not prepared at the moment to name names. I simply wanted to inform you of the state of affairs.
Go on. Do you know that man?
Yes. Doesn't matter.
A state of affairs, Sir John.
Yes.
Sir John?
The situation is that the official engaged in the investigation has as his mistress a woman who is also the mistress of the man against whom his office might have to take action.
I see. Thank you. Were you suggesting earlier that malice might be involved?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm simply telling you.
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't really matter if there's malice involved or not. You do realize you may eventually have to name names. The Public Accounts Committee has the power to call you as a witness and examine you under oath.
It may come to nothing. If it doesn't, I certainly shall not name anything.
You'd rather we went somewhere else?
Yes. Let's see if we can find some food. You do eat, I suppose.
Oh, nobody home?
Does it look like it?
Where's Miss Lingard?
She wasn't in either when I came in.
Oh, well, I'll come back later.
Ken, do you know what time it is?
9:05.
If you were asked to define first thing in the morning, how would you describe it?
Well, I suppose it's round about now.
Would you indeed? What a quaint, old-fashioned fellow you must be. Miss Lingard,
Yes? Are you waiting to see Sir John?
do you know where Sir John is, please?
He phoned when I first got in, Mr. Henderson, to say he probably wouldn't be in till lunchtime. Did you have an appointment?
No, it doesn't matter, Miss Lingard, it's all right. What the hell does he think he's doing?
Had you arranged to see him?
He arranged to see me, an order. Be here first thing in the morning when I'm here, aren't I?
Well, I probably forgot.
John Wilder doesn't forget important appointments. So what the hell am I doing here?
If I had to define you, Don, I'd say that you were somebody in need of a holiday.
A holiday? You don't mean you think I've been working too hard, do you?
I think you worked pretty hard.
At what?
So what is it?
Maybe I still need a holiday.
Where were you yesterday?
I bumped into some old friends.
Or couldn't face another day with Wilder?
I think I may have to tell him. No, that I'll have to go. It may even be unhealthy for me to stay.
Don, all work involves some strain. I mean, after a
Oh,
while...
for God's sake, Ken!
He's beginning to believe that John Wilder image. I've seen it building up over the years, carrying everybody in front of it. There was a time when he was about the best boss it was possible to have. He was fair, he was direct, and he was honest. Now all he cares about is success. And I don't think there's anything he wouldn't do to ensure it.
There are quite a lot of people trying to prevent him achieving it.
Well, what do you mean, achieving it? Well, how much more does he want to achieve? I think I want to achieve less. So when he comes in, I'm going to ask him what the hell he means by keeping me waiting.
Fine.
Oh, hello, John. I'm frightfully sorry. John, you've kept me waiting here over an hour, just pulling my heels like some...
All the mornings for Caswell to drop in. I really couldn't possibly get away.
Well, John, it's a bit...
coffee. Miss Lingard, do you think you would rustle up some coffee for us?
You really are a basket, aren't you?
You think so?
Yes.
Do you think you could make somebody else believe that you really think so?
Easily. Why?
Because that's what I want you to try and do.
John, I may no longer be available to run...
Sit down, it's more comfortable.
I was only supposed to tell you that he'd heard that the Public Accounts Committee got hold of the story. I was supposed to leak it to you. I only agreed to come here because I know it was he who told them. I saw him with Matcher.
Who?
Christopher Matcher is one of the opposition MPs who's on the committee. John's up to something, and I thought I'd better warn you.
How do I know that what you say isn't part of it?
Well, you don't, of course. I'm just playing at power for my own reasons, probably equally despicable. But he is bluffing. He doesn't want the committee to do anything about it. But I know that if the bluff doesn't work, he'll damn well let them.
Well, what am I supposed to do?
Oh, you're supposed to pass it on to your friend. Which I would do in any case. It might give him time to think of something.
Why does he think that'll make any difference?
Obviously, if he can get you, a civil servant, involved in a scandal, whether...
But how would that affect the outcome of an official investigation? I'd merely be replaced by someone else.
Well, he's out to discredit the whole investigation.
Darling, not even Wilder can do a damn thing to stop the Public Accounts Committee from doing its job.
Even so, you know, John doesn't always differentiate very clearly between his political problems and his emotional problems.
I see. Just so long as something gets knocked down, he can bear it if they're not all knocked down. Then we better nail ourselves down before we're knocked down. Hadn't we?
Yes?
Ah, John. I hope I haven't kept you waiting. Well, I took my little axe and chopped down the tree of truth for you, and I cannot tell a lie, John. I chopped down the one you were hiding in as well, while I was about it. Oh, I told her it was you who leaked the story to the Accounts Committee. I'll be in first thing in the morning if you want to see me about it. Onward, my fine fellow, onward.
Thank you, darling, for a marvelous meal.
Thank you, kind sir.
Do you think we have time for a brandy?
Let's see if we can down a quick one.
Why not? Your very good health.
And yours. Long, long good health. Only just.
You do know him well.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
You didn't realize we were having a party. Well, never mind. Come in. Have a glass.
Thank you.
You were just passing?
Yes, I was, as a matter of fact. I wanted to see Susan about something.
Well, there she is.
I don't mind. It'll do when she's not so intimately engaged. Thank you.
I said, isn't it rather scandalous, all three of us being here? I wonder what they do with that.
So you've heard?
Yes, we've heard, thank you.
You should be used to it. Your department seems to think that most of the things I do are scandalous. I doubt whether you'll be able to make much out of this one.
Well, my department doesn't merely exist to look for scandals.
What sort of a scandal is it going to look like? In a period of economic difficulty, a firm which tries to make itself more efficient is penalized. What sort of an example is that to other firms? Make more money, you get more trouble.
But in this case, it was public money.
One thing you learn when you leave the milky world of government offices is that money is money, public or not, and that everything has got its price.
I'm glad you realize that.
Don't talk to me like a schoolmaster.
And don't talk to me as though I were a bloody fool. As I said before, my department is not looking for scandals. It merely wants to know what happened.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We spent £70,000 on developing a machine to do the job more efficiently. We took a chance that it would work. If it hadn't, we'd have had to foot the bill. It did work, so you have to foot it. But now you're trying to creep out of it.
Why tell me all this here and now? Obviously, there will be a time and place for you to appear before the Public Accounts Committee to give your version.
At your convenience.
Well, as this is yours, I mean, why did you come here particularly to discuss it? Just what is it you're trying to make me look like?
What you are. A lackey, doing your master's work without question. I doubt whether your masters will want you so eagerly when they know of your involvement in this total affair.
Well, if I were you, I would do everything possible to prevent them hearing any such thing, Wilder, unless you want to look publicly what you look privately tonight. A loser.
Really?
Because long before they will have decided how to react to your story, we will have been married. And what will that make you? Yes, you can either return the key or throw it away. The lock's being changed in the morning. Oddly enough, you know, at times one has to prevent oneself feeling sorry for him.
What am I going to tell him this time?
Oh, don't worry, Lucy. I'll tell him.
You going away?
Yes, for the weekend. A long weekend. Thursday, as they say, through Wednesday.
Yes, Kenneth said he thought that you needed a holiday.
Possibly. Well, how did it go, John?
Well, you can never really tell, can you?
No, it's a hard old life. Tell me, were you using them to get at the government or the government to get at them?
Where are you going to?
That's a good question. You might ask Miss Lingard to ring up and book me a seat.
On what train?
Ask them what trains they have.